of balance, fulfillment, and joy. I'm Kayla Sweet, and together we are going to have fun and create change from the inside out. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited for today's episode. I've actually been looking forward to this episode for months. I have an amazing guest joining us today who's going to share something a little different than what we usually talk about on the show. And our topic today is intuitive styling. We are going to talk about how the way that we dress can be an act of art, an act of expression, a way to really show the world how we want to show up internally in our material world. So it's so much more than just style. It's a personal, creative expression and a way to show the world who we are and who we're becoming and who we want to be. So we are going to be tapping into this and really exploring how to use style to enhance confidence, to empower us, and help us show up really authentically in the world, which this is something that I'm fairly inexperienced in. I've just started to try to figure out my own style. Obviously, it's been inspired since my first conversation with our guest. So can't wait to see what she has to share with us today. Our guest is Jennifer Nataf. She is a personal stylist. She works with women to help them really elevate their style so that they can show their true selves. And we are going to dig into all of that and more today. So, with that, I want to say welcome, Jennifer. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here with you.
So, can you take a moment? I gave a very brief and general introduction and just share with the listeners who you are and what you do as a stylist.
Sure. I have always loved clothes and I have always loved style. And this has always been something that's such a deep part of me since the time I was a child. And over the course of my life, I'm 47 now, but I've gone through different stages where I wanted to express different parts of my personality. I also moved countries as a teenager, and I've experienced weight gain and weight loss and body issues, and all that has really um, brought home the impact of style and clothes to me. So I can get into that a little bit more and just give you a bit more detail on my own life. And um, I know that not everybody, style and clothes are not the most important thing to everybody, but there are people who are deeply impacted by it. Um, and so those are the people that I want to help. So I personally, I grew up in Montreal, Canada. When I was 15, there were couple things that happened to me. One was that I moved to Israel, which is a different culture, massively different culture, different weather. And so I moved here in 1992. And right now, you think nowadays you have the internet, and you think about how global style is, and even so anywhere in the world, you'll see teenagers dressing in a relatively similar way. But back then, I came to Israel and I was wearing my Canadian clothes. I was dressed like a normal teenager. And when I came here, I was dressed a little bit different from everybody else. And so my friends laughed at me because I was dressed differently from them. And as a teenager, all I wanted was to fit in. And so having my friends laugh at me, it didn't really hurt me. I just thought they're so immature. Why are they laughing? Have they not seen a bucket hat before? Have they not seen these regular normal clothes before? And I just thought they were silly, but it kept me from wearing those things that I loved so much. So I would bring back these treasures every time I visited Montreal. I would bring back these treasures, and my friends would laugh at me, and I would stop wearing them. And so that was not fun, and that really impacted me. It impacted me for decades. I did not want to stand out. I did
Mm.
not dare to stand out for decades. And there's something else that happened to me as a teenager, which was that I started to gain weight a little bit. And then I entered into the cycle of disordered eating, like so many women. And so I would gain a lot of weight, I would lose a lot of weight, but still, I would still be like a little bit plus more than I started. So it was this continuous cycle of gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. When I gained weight, I could not find clothes I liked. I did not feel good in my clothes. And I missed out on life. I missed out on parties and events because I did not have the clothes that I felt good in to go to these events. And so when I think back to that, to think back to teenage Jennifer, I feel I want to cry for her. And the thing is that I know that there are other women like that now. And I've had clients tell me the same thing. And so I know what that's like. I want to help the people who are they feel so terrible about themselves that they cannot leave their homes and go to an event because they have nothing to wear. It took me getting to my 30s. It took me getting to my 30s to finally decide I don't care what other people think of me. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm going to dress up. This is a Israel, super, super casual culture. I'm going to dress up if I want to dress up, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to look a little bit out of the ordinary. And people are going to stare at me when I walk down the street. And yes, that happens. But it doesn't matter because I'm dressing in a way that makes me happy, that makes me feel good about myself, and that gives me confidence. And so I think that we need to listen to ourselves. This is something also that can take a little bit of learning and a little bit of courage to listen to yourself, to decide that you don't care, and to put that into practice. And it doesn't come that easily to some people, and it takes some practice. Like, you have to put on that thing that intimidates you and leave home in it and wear it a few times before you actually get comfortable in that item that intimidates you a little bit, and you're worried, what are people going to think about me? So that is how I that is why this is so important to me, because I've experienced it in myself. I've experienced the impact of clothing on myself. And so this is one thing that I want to help women find their style, find the clothes that really resonate with them, the clothes that they feel good in, give them courage and confidence, because everybody has something beautiful about them, even if they cannot see it themselves. I want to give them just that confidence. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say, after our initial conversation, I think I had gone into that and been like, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I know nothing about style. I was like how I was just kind of owning the fact that I've never invested any time into my own personal style. And it was fairly true. But since our conversation, a few of the little nuggets I took away from that, I've been so inspired, and you would be incredibly proud. There have been a few times, even this week, where I was like, I don't know if I can leave the house in this. Like, this feels like it might be a little too attention drawing. And I did it. And I was so, like, I felt good. And I actually got a lot of compliments. And I was like, okay, like, there is something to this. Like, it required some bravery. It felt a little uncomfy. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to see what happens. And I was thinking of you. So thank
I
you, even for that.
I love that. I love that you were courageous and you did it anyways, and you reap the rewards. I feel like it builds you up. In addition, it's nice to get compliments, of course, but even if you hadn't received the compliments, it still would have been this empowering thing that you did. So I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you because I've actually thought about our conversation a lot, and it's so interesting because the way you frame style and the way that you really use it as a tool for empowerment, it's changed the way I think about it. So I'm just really excited to continue to dig in, and I just wanted to sing your praises for a second as to why your message and your work is so impactful. Even from a brief conversation, you left a mark. So I would love to hear a little bit more about this intuition piece within your styling process and how you help people use intuition, how you use it in your own styling, and how you kind of came to that approach.
I use some sort of tactical knowledge and some practical tools. to help people find their style. So this is, I mean, everybody knows Pinterest, and that is one of the things that I use. I talk to my clients to learn more about them, to learn what it is that they want to, how they want to appear in the world, what they want people to think when people look at them. Even if you don't necessarily want all eyes on you, people are still going to be meeting you, and you still want to project a certain image, you want to convey a certain message. So I talk to my clients about what it is that they want to, what that they want to convey. And this is something that we can all be very mindful of. Where am I going today? Who am I going to be meeting? What do I want to feel? And what do I want to convey? And I think that when we listen to ourselves, we will know intuitively what it is that will give us confidence for that day, or that will cause us to feel whatever emotion it is that we want to feel that day. And we're maybe, like you're going on a date, maybe you want to put on that red dress, maybe that will give you confidence, maybe it will, give you the sense that you're showing your femininity. For me, there have been times when I've needed to go to uh, encounter somebody very intimidating, and I have to go to maybe a business, maybe like a government, one of those places where you need to deal with government people, you need to get permissions, and they're so intimidating. Or something like, I don't know, something intimidating. For something intimidating, I wear black. I wear black because it makes me feel powerful. And so we all have these things that, and if we don't yet, then this is something you can think about. What do I feel good in? What color makes me feel powerful? I also think that I think that we should be listening to ourselves, intuiting every day. You wake up in the morning. Again, so like I said, where are you going? Who are you meeting? What are you going to do? And then just think a little bit before we go to our closets, and we're overwhelmed because we have so many things. But if before you even go to your closet, you think to yourself, all right, I'm going to be meeting such and such a person. The weather's, it's hot out, so I don't need a jacket. And I want to feel this. And then you just lean into yourself, turn inwardly and see what comes to mind. And this is something that this is an exercise that I do. This is an exercise that I teach people. And when you do this, and something will come to mind, it will be a color, it will be an item, it will be something. And then you can go to your closet, because you already have this inkling of what it is that you want to wear. You go to your closet, you pull out, how many items do you have? If it's a particular color, it's not going to be your whole closet that is now available to you. You already have in mind something that you want to wear. And that's how, and then, you take that item and you build an outfit around it. You take that color, whatever, you build an outfit around it. It's so much faster than you're clueless. You open up your closet, you have so many things, and you don't know what to wear. It's overwhelming. So this is something that has been helpful for me to get dressed in just 2 minutes. This has been helpful also for my clients who do this, just to get ready faster. So that's one thing, one way to lean into your intuition. We know ourselves, and if we don't yet know ourselves, learn to learn yourself. Learn to listen to yourself. Pay attention to the things that. Pay attention to how you feel in your clothes. That's something
Mm,
also. If you don't feel so great, you can donate that item.
mm,
And as far as I mentioned Pinterest. I have my clients put together a Pinterest board. There are stylists who will put together a Pinterest board for you. There are stylists who listen to what you have to say. They'll say, okay, well, so you need clothes, and you're telling me you like this and you like that. And they'll put together a Pinterest board, and that Pinterest board could be filled with beautiful items, but it's the stylist who came up with it. And so what I would encourage people who want to find their style to do is to go to Pinterest and put together an inspiration board for them. And this is something that, just in practical terms, I recommend that you would do. Take half an hour, and then when you've had enough, maybe even less than half an hour, when you've had enough, leave it. Then in another few days, come back to it, do it another little bit, and then leave it, and then come back to it, do it another little bit. And then at a certain point, when you've got about maybe 100 items pinned, things that have inspired you, things that you think, oh, wow, I love this. It doesn't matter if it is fits your body type. If you think it fits your body type, it doesn't matter if you think it fits your coloring, things that inspire you, put together that board. And then when you feel like I've got a lot here, start to curate it and go through it. And in this way, you will make discoveries that if I were to put together a Pinterest board for you, you would never make.
Mm,
I could never uncover. I had a client who did this, and then it came out that she really loved the color yellow. I would not have put her in all these yellow things. But she was blonde hair, blue eyed, and when she discovered this, I was like, yeah, I can really see that. She also had a sunny personality.
mm,
That was so perfect. I had another client do this, and she was pinning all these glitzy ball gowns, and she's like, I don't go to all these tiny balls. Am I doing this right? I'm like, yes. Keep pinning these things. And what we ended up doing for her was looking for simple items, like everyday clothes, but that had a little bit of that glitz and glamour and satin and sheen. And so if you want to figure out your style, I think that the Pinterest board is a really, really great place to start, and just start pinning things that you love without giving any thought to, does this make sense? Will this fit my lifestyle? Just see what it is that you love. And then you can make everything make sense when you're out shopping, and for everyday items and not necessarily ball gowns or whatever.
yes. I love that you kind of led with the how do you want to feel? Who are you going to be with? Where are you going to go? Question because I am somebody that used to be, and still some days am, the person who cannot figure out what to wear and have a 30-minute clothing crisis
Oh my goodness.
before
So
I leave.
yes. Yes. Yeah, and me too. I used to be that way. Yeah.
It's funny though, I've remembered because this was something you mentioned when we first talked, and I remembered that question of how do you want to feel today? And I'm a very like feely, intuitive, emotion connected person. And so going to my closet with that thought of like, how do I want to feel today? Do I want to feel powerful? Do I want to feel joyful? Do I want to feel like goofy and fun?
Yeah.
And like, and that really has helped. It's helped me narrow it down and it's helped me make some really interesting choices that I felt really good about because I knew why. Yeah, so I love that. It just is a different approach to um, looking at your clothes in a way that they could be a reflection of what we're aspiring to feel and what we want to bring to the world and the people around us. And I had never heard style framed in that way before. It's
Yeah.
very, yeah, very intuitive, very, it's like a deeper level, right, than just what we're wearing. It's this reflection of who we are and how we want to show up in the world, and that's really deep.
It is. And recently, it's sort of been a new thought that I haven't yet had a chance to dig into yet. But there's the thought that colors have different frequencies. And so I've just been thinking, and I don't know if anybody's done research on this, but I thought that I wanted to do a little bit more digging into it, what it could possibly do for us.
Mm,
And I think that really color can give us um, a certain feeling, a certain energy for the day. And so yeah, so I've been meaning to look into like the frequency of color and see if
yeah.
any research on that.
I love that, and I'm sure you will find something. I haven't done a deep dive myself, but I will say that I've heard of color choices and when it comes to like interior design and the emotions they evoke and some of that. So I know there is research out there around the colors we see and how that relates to how it makes you feel. So I'm sure that also relates to the colors we're choosing to wear and what emotion that might evoke in the people looking at us and being in our space. So I think that would be a really cool exploration to go down.
Right? I mean, there's like we all know, red is passion and blue is calm, but is there something beyond that?
Mm,
That's what I want to know.
yes. Oh, you'll have to tell us if you
I
find
will have
anything
to.
juicy. I love that. So, how has your relationship to styling evolved? You've mentioned that, this is something that you've always been interested in, but you had some periods of your life where maybe you didn't allow yourself to fully explore and experiment with it. How have you really allowed yourself to grow into your own style and use that as a source of inspiration for others?
I feel like it's been a lifelong journey. I feel I really feel like it's been a lifelong journey. Again, so I'm 47 and with age comes experience, wisdom, and unfortunately wrinkles. But it's been a journey and it's been a bunch of different aha moments. When I was, so I was, I guess, really influenced by the people around me, and that again, as a teenager, I didn't want to stand out. And so I had this one of my aha moments when I was just fitting in my jeans and t-shirt. I was 32. I traveled to my university to get my master's diploma. I studied nutrition, so I have a bachelor's and a master's in nutrition. Never did anything with that. The day that I got my diploma, I went to celebrate by going shopping, obviously, because that's how you celebrate. And I was in a shoe store and I had this nice discussion with a woman. Again, I was dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. And at the end of the conversation with the saleswoman, she said, "So, have you done the army yet?" And that is essentially asking me, "Are you 18?" And at age 32, I did not appreciate that question. I'm not going to say insulted because it's taking a little bit farther but I felt like, do I appear to have the maturity of an 18-year-old?
Mm,
Is that what comes across when I speak? Is that what comes across in how I'm dressed? And so
mm,
it was at that point that was this aha moment that said, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to dress in a way I'm not going to dress to fit in anymore. Right now, I'm dressing to convey the message that I am 32, I am mature, I am sophisticated. And I really changed how I dressed.
mm.
And people noticed. I got compliments. I also was often asked if I was a lawyer. I don't know why, but I was often asked if I was a lawyer. Um, and so I think that was really the turning point. That was the thing that decided that I'm going to have the confidence to dress how I want. And and so this is just something that enables me to tell my clients, it doesn't matter what other people think. This is something, it comes up a lot. I don't know. I know for sure that it is a cultural thing here that people are scared of standing out.
Mm.
But I think that it's probably this is universal. This is this is universal. Depending on where you are, in New York,
Yeah.
of course, people are not afraid of standing out. But I think that in most places, most people do not really want to stand out. And so I can tell my clients, don't worry. If you stand out, it will only be in a good way and people will compliment you. And even if you do stand out, you're standing out because you look better than everybody else. Because this is such a casual culture and people do not care how they how they dress and how they appear. Unfortunately, it's part of the culture. And so you're just going to look better than everybody else. And chances are people might not even notice, but typically people do notice. And my clients get compliments and they look put together and they enjoy that. They enjoy it.
Yeah, that's such an interesting there was a couple things you said that I can resonate with because I'm 32 right now and I present sometimes I present my age and sometimes I present younger. So it's depending on what I'm wearing, I have noticed the response of how people treat me and interact with me and speak with me and listen to me. Because when you appear, in your early to mid 20s, sometimes there's a different I don't know, maybe not as much authority given to your thoughts or as much respect given to your experiences as opposed to, a decade later. And I do think it does impact the way that we navigate the world and how we feel in it. The other thing that was interesting was your description of like the casual culture. And I live in the Midwest, so
Mm,
we are fairly modest and casual here as well. I think there's different environments. You have the business suite and then you have the more casual atmospheres. It kind of depends on what spaces you're navigating. But I will say, as I've been trying to like embrace a little bit more, I don't know, creativity in the way that I'm dressing. I've been, getting a sandwich after work and they've been like, "What are you all dressed up for?" I'm like, "I just got off of work." Like, thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting.
It is. It is. One of the things I noticed pretty quickly that when I changed the way I dressed, and it was no longer to fit in, but I was dressing in a more elevated way, more elegant, more chic, more sophisticated. I noticed that I get more respect than other people just because I'm dressed in this way. And I'm not saying that this is right. I don't think I should be getting more respect, but it happens. And so it is something I do appreciate it. Um, I think it's a little bit terrible that not everybody is accorded the same degree of respect, but if you know that this is going to affect how people treat you, when you realize the impact of your style on others, um, you can appreciate that. You can dress up a little bit more nicely and just appreciate the respect that is accorded to you.
Yeah. I think especially as women, sometimes our opinions in certain spaces are given more or less gravity, right? Depending on the cultural context and the biases and beliefs of the people around us. And so if we can do something exteriorly that will help to reflect the wisdom or the insight or the knowledge we might bring and allow people to be receptive to hearing it, it's helpful. It's a helpful step in the right direction, at least.
Absolutely. Strategic dressing. Dressing the part, dressing more seriously. Again, you on days you want to be fun and goofy, you do that, but dress intentionally and um and you'll see how people respond. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it really is. I've been thinking about this so much more since we first connected than I have ever in my entire life. I've never given a second thought really to how I've dressed. Maybe in middle school, but since then I haven't given as much thought as I have lately. And it really is a fun creative practice. Like I'm really starting to understand how it can be used as an outlet for creativity and experimentation and fun. And yeah. So I guess kind of along those lines, what is one of the most exciting things for you when it comes to working with women on their personal style? What kinds of shifts and impacts are you seeing in your clients as you go down this journey with them?
Most of my clients their goal is to look more put together, learn how to look more put together. That's what I hear the most, and that's what I help them with. So my own style is more classic, and I will help my clients dress in a way that resonates with them, not with me, with them. And so if somebody's more artistic or somebody's more creative or more natural and less classic, maybe they're more romantic, I will help them find clothes that resonate with them, but I will also help them look put together. And so um, the only exception is if somebody's like super creative, they're actually not going to come to me because they will figure out their own way of dressing. Somebody's super creative with so many different like colors and shapes and patterns, and they will, I mean, they will put together things in their own way. They're not going to come to a personal stylist unless, they need to for work or something like that. But everybody else, I will help them look put together. And so that means that they're learning what goes with what. They're learning basic style principles. They're learning about the accessories that they should have. And there is so much out there. There's so many temptations out there. And I might be tempted by a gorgeous burgundy tote or or a beautiful pair of red shoes. Now, I know myself, I've bought those red shoes and never worn them. And so I teach my clients not to be drawn by that that shiny object that is drawing their attention. Not yet, anyhow. First of all, let's have the basics. First of all, let's make sure that you have your accessories, your shoes, your bags, your outerwear, your hat, your gloves, whatever, in black and in neutral. And so this is true for most people. And then if you whatever it is that you're wearing, you can wear this fabulous outfit, but then if you don't have your accessories to go with, it's just going to ruin it. It's not going to look harmonious. It's not going to
Mm.
look aesthetically pleasing. And so I tell my clients to have their accessories in black and in neutrals. And then if there's a color that they wear a lot of, then get accessories in that color too. I have a lot of green. I have a lot of um, I have a lot of pink, and I have a lot of light blue. In addition to all aside from that, my closet is black and neutrals. But I have a lot of those colors. So for me, it would make sense to buy an accessory in light blue, light pink, green. But being drawn by those red shoes does not make so much sense for me, even though like I want them. And so the impact, so the biggest impact really is helping my clients go from feeling not put together, feeling frumpy, feeling like they don't know how to put together an outfit to looking put together. And a huge part of that is just having the right accessories. And then it's learning how to, you're wearing a pattern right now. If I were to, so I see flowers and I see yellow and I see reds and oranges and I see green on a sort of cream color background. So if I wanted to pair something with that top, I'd say pick any one of those colors and wear bottoms in any one of those colors. And that's how you're going to look really the most put together. You could
Mm.
also do jeans, but that's such a more casual look.
Right.
So then if you want to uh, finish up that outfit, so let's say I'm just going to randomly say wear like red or orangey red or whatever trousers with that top, or like mustardy yellow or whatever, or green and or cream. Okay, one of those. And then finish it off with accessories in like a cream, an off-white, or a tan, a beige.
Mm.
So that's what I would say for you. You take any pattern, and if you want the outfit to look put together, you take any color from that pattern inside that pattern, and have the rest of your items be in that in the colors from the pattern from that item. If it's a shirt, or if
Mm.
it's a skirt or whatever. I hope that was clear. It's hard to explain.
No, I love it. And I love your excitement, like the amount of joy that I can like feel emanating from you just as you're kind of describing this process and helping people understand how to create a look that might be both creative and feel good and feel presentable and feel put together and feel like there's a confidence that comes when you're like, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, like, who is this? She looks great. It's very different from when you're lounging around in your sweatpants and your baggy t-shirt and you just want to be comfy and cozy. I mean, that's a vibe too, but sometimes you just want to feel confident and powerful. And I think being able to dress in a way that makes you feel that it emanates from your personality too. And I can tell that you get so much joy from helping people understand that process. It's funny because I'm a novice to this, but my husband is an artist. He's a creative visual artist, and so he helps me a lot with exactly what you're talking about, like trying to pull out those colors. He just has an eye for it. So usually he's my shopping companion.
I love that. Yeah. So I love seeing the transformation of people go, just gain confidence because suddenly I've given them tools to know what goes with what and what creates impact. And um, just seeing that transformation and seeing them look beautiful and have that confidence is that's the transformation. That's the
Yeah.
transformation. Yeah.
I love that. And I imagine it's very just like a special heartfelt thing to experience to see women come to you feeling, maybe a little insecure or unsure or just not even knowing where to start and then to be able to help them ignite some of that personal power and that confidence and to see the shift because I think we do present differently when we feel really good about the clothes that we have adorned ourselves with, we present differently, we feel differently, and so people feel different around us because of that. So that's a really cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and this is something that you can train your eye. You can train your eye to see what looks good and what looks harmonious. And nobody's a lost cause. That's
I
like that's what I want people to know. Nobody's a lost cause. Anybody can have style, and it doesn't matter what your budget is. It doesn't matter what your body shape is. It doesn't matter how old you are. Anybody can have style if you work at it and you're intentional and you're intuitive and you listen to yourself. Um, you put in the
yeah.
work too. It's work. It's a little bit of work. It's faster with a stylist, but anybody can do this on their own too.
Oh, I love that. Is there, and honestly, I remember my first conversation with you too, where you were like, "Well, you do have style." Like you were very affirming and positive, and I think that even is like, I think it's a boost for women to hear that from another woman that, even if it's not fully developed yet, like that there's a spark of something there, and that it could evolve, and that there's that hope. Yeah, I love that about your natural optimism and hopefulness, I think comes across. But I guess kind of along the realm of so we have this positive outcome. So people feel good, they look good, they're feeling more powerful, they're feeling more confident. Are there ever blocks that you're noticing before we get to that point when you're going through this process of styling people and trying to help them tap into their intuition when it comes to like worthiness and confidence and being seen? Like, how does that present in your work and how do you guide people through that?
There are a few blocks that I've encountered. Sometimes it's body issues and it's a resistance to wear clothes in a way that maybe tucking in your shirt, which is a more flattering look. But then if you have a little bit of a belly, then it's visible from the side. And so are you going to hide yourself in something oversized that is not flattering, that looks like you're hiding yourself? Or are you going to say, okay, this is overall a more tucking in my shirt is overall a more flattering look. Yes, you can see a little bit of belly from the side, but it's there anyhow. I'm either hiding it or I'm dressing in the most possible flattering way. And you see a little bit of belly, but it still looks really good. I still look really good.
Mm,
Um, and so it's a matter of helping women through that over that hurdle. And for the most part, just because overall they recognize that what I'm saying is true. Overall, I'm helping them look better, even if you can see a little bit of the belly or whatever it is that they have, they still overall look so much better than when they're hiding.
mm,
Um, and but there can be other blocks. The biggest challenge I ever had was my first client ever, and she's also my best friend, and this is 5 years ago. And she was dressing in a way so as not to stand out. everything she had was really all about fitting in. She's very tall. She's nearly 6 feet, and she's very regal. She's she's one of those people that you go to for help. She's one of those people you can rely on. She's one of those people you can trust. And it took me so many conversations before I kept wanting to put her in impressive clothing because she is impressive. And I wanted to put her in things that were more impactful instead of hiding in these basic items that she was used to hiding in. And I finally got down to the bottom of it. I'm like, why are you resisting this? And she said, because people at work already call me Your Highness. And she said they recognize my authority. They don't do it in a mean way, but it bothers me. It bothers me. And so she already felt like she was standing out with her height and with people calling her Your Highness. But when she was able to accept that she is that way, she is a regal, imposing figure, she was able to say, okay, I can dress in this way instead of hiding away in these basic clothes that do nothing for me. And so 5 years later, she's still dressing, she's still looking for clothes that are more impressive, that are more impactful. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her to see that this was a message that stayed with her.
Mm.
Even though I haven't worked with her in 5 years, she continues to look for items that really do show her, that resonate with her, that show who she is, and that do not, make her fade away into the background.
Mm, I love that. You talked about a couple really interesting things, I think, when it comes to style, when it comes to dressing and clothes. The one around body image stuff, I think a lot of us can relate to. And I'm someone whose weight has fluctuated all of my
Mhm.
life, up and down and all around. And it does change the way clothes fit. And so sometimes then you have to purchase new things so that it feels good physically, right? Or doesn't hang off if you're on the other end and you've lost weight. So I think that natural fluctuation that happens as we age, as we go through different phases and stages of life really does impact women. And it sounds like the way that you help them to dress and embrace it, it's a permission slip that your body is beautiful however it's showing up, and like you don't have to hide it. You don't have to hide what your body already is. It is what it is. And if you wear clothes that you feel good in and style them in a way that is the most flattering, that is the most fun, that is the most put together, you're still going to be you, whatever size you might be presenting as, but you can feel better in that. And I think that goes a really long way, because I've definitely been on the other side too, where you gain a little bit of weight and you want to wear just like the biggest baggiest things, and you really do want to hide, and it's very disempowering because I think it makes you hide in other ways too.
100%, 100%. I think that we need to be more forgiving with ourselves. Uh, Weight fluctuations they're normal. And especially when we go through different, like you said, different stages of life. And it could be a stressful time, or it could just be winter and you're eating more and you're hungry. And it could be really, motherhood, menopause. There are so many reasons that we might gain weight or lose weight. And we really have to be forgiving with ourselves. And if you need to go out and buy new clothes, go out and buy new clothes so that you feel good about yourself. And don't put pressure on yourself to lose that weight or to gain it. I know people also who have trouble gaining weight. And
Mhm.
it's different from what most of us experience, but that's difficult for them too. And so if you need permission because you've gained weight or lost weight to go out and buy the new clothes, instead of thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm going to lose it anyhow. How long is that going to take you? And so one of the things that really, like really, really bothers me is when I'll have a conversation somebody will ask me what I do, and I say, "Oh, I'm a stylist." And people will say, "So, I've been meaning to look into my style and everything, but I'm waiting to lose weight."
Mm,
And so I anticipating their answer, I always ask them, "So how long have you been waiting to lose this weight?" And I get answers like, my eldest is 5, so that's about 5 years I've been waiting to lose." You're telling me
mm,
walking around, you're not feeling good in your style, you're not feeling good in your clothes, and it's been 5 years and you're still waiting?
mm,
We should be feeling good in our clothes, and if we've gained a little bit of weight, you know, it could take a while before we lose it. We also need to know ourselves, right? And I some people, if you're able to like lose it just like that, most people aren't. And so have those clothes that will support you so that you don't feel terrible about yourself all the time. "Oh, I've gained this weight and my pants are too tight and I'm wearing them and it's been 3 months since I've gained weight and but I feel terrible every day because my pants
mm.
are too tight." Go out, find, a few items that you're going to feel good in to support you so that you're not reminded every day what a terrible failure you are because you haven't yet lost that weight.
Right. Ugh. That's such a powerful point to this. I think sometimes as women, and I think a lot of it is like societally imposed, right? About like what our bodies are supposed to look like. And it's like, well, I'll reward myself with clothes I feel good in once I've fit the mold of the size I'm supposed to be. And it's so harmful because it's like telling ourselves we don't deserve the clothes we feel good in right
Mhm.
now as we are. Yeah, and then like you said, if you're waiting for years to give yourself permission to wear clothes you feel good in, like that does impact things. I think beyond just the way we feel about how we look, it impacts the way we feel about ourselves in general, our sense of worth and our sense of self-love.
For sure. For sure. And also, if you, for the women who have children, what are you teaching your children? Are you teaching your children that you're also important and that how you look is important and how you feel about yourself is important? Um, that's that's something else. Your daughters are looking at you, your sons are looking at you, um, and you're important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an act of like love and care, and I've noticed that more and more as I've gotten older. Like the time that I spend in my morning routine and in cultivating what I want to present as for the day, and it makes me feel like I'm worth it. Like it's time I've chosen to spend on myself, and I think that's very different than dressing to try to gain acceptance, like maybe I would have in middle school, where it was
Right?
almost like a self torture, like a what do I have to make myself shape and mold into to get the approval of everyone else? It's like, how can I really nurture my physical body and present in a way that feels to me like I'm worthy of this time and attention and care?
100%.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I love this conversation. So we were talking a little bit about like confidence and power, and for some people it's kind of hard even with the right clothes, I think, to feel truly confident in their own bodies, in their own selves, in the world. Are there ways that we can use style to try on confidence, to almost like put it on as an outfit, or to try to embody a different way of holding ourselves through the world? How do you see that or work with that?
I just think that it's really through the clothes that resonate with you. So if you're somebody who loves patterns and color, then go for that. If you're somebody who loves texture, if you're somebody who I really think it's turning inwardly and finding the clothes that you love and wearing them. Um, and and finding your inspiration as well, because look, some people have it intuitively. Some people have a developed sense of aesthetics and a developed sense of style, and they will put together outfits that look amazing. But if you don't have that and it's something that you're looking to develop, then open up your eyes, find inspiration around you. go on social media and follow the influencers that inspire you, not the ones who make you feel terrible about yourself, but the ones who make you say, "Oh, I would love to try that dress." Um, there are so many out there, and I get rid of the ones who I get rid of the influencers who make me feel bad about myself or who and I follow the ones who I find inspiring. So find your
Mhm.
inspiration and look inwardly. And if you really, you want that instant boost, you want this to be, you want to go through this, you want to speed up the process, talk to a stylist. It is not necessarily as expensive as you might think, and it can be life-changing. If you want to invest in yourself, then that is definitely that's going to be the fastest way.
Yeah. Ugh, I
But
love that. And that's why people like you are so needed, right? Because sometimes if you really have no idea where to start, you might just need some guidance and some support. I guess kind of along those lines, when you do start working with people, what's the process that you bring them through? We've talked a little bit about, how they feel and trying to, do the Pinterest boards and all of that. Are there other like really key practices that you support women with when it comes to trying to unlock this and step into this confidently?
I do. So I have them put together the Pinterest board, and I dig down deep to see, what is important to them and what is
Mhm.
important for them to convey through their style. And then using their words, I can guide them when I go through their closet and then when I go shopping with them. And but one of the things that I have them do is also photograph their outfits of the day. And so they stand in front of a mirror and they take a selfie. And I also I send them like tiny little video clips of how to pose because looking at yourself, first of all, I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's normal for people to take selfies. I don't think like that's the most normal thing. I think it has become part of our culture because this is something that people who really love taking their own photos did, and then everybody followed suit. Um, but it's not like most normal people do not love taking photos of themselves. So I'll just say that. And so if you're not used to taking selfies in front of the mirror, then you will not necessarily know how to pose and how to stand, and you'll take a photo and you'll look terrible in it because in the photo you're flat and you're two-dimensional. And in reality, we're three-dimensional and we have movement and there's movement and there's motion to our clothes and to our bodies. And you take a photo and it's really hard to look at yourself. So I send them videos on a couple short clips on how to pose so that they know how to pose in their outfit of the day. And then they send me their photos, their outfits of the day. And then they also look at them and they analyze them and they say, okay, you know what? I actually don't like this.
Mm.
I don't like these things together. And so that's another little thing that is also very helpful. Taking photos of your outfits of the day and including all of it. So if you're going to so including your shoes, including your bag, because shoes and bags can like ruin an outfit if it's not the right color, the right, the right vibe or whatever. So that's a good practice that people can try, and that's something that I do with my clients. And I can also, when I'm working with somebody, I also tell them, okay, listen, the whole outfit is just, it's a little bit too dark. What if you switched out this for that, switch this out for that, or added just like a white shirt underneath, and then you've got a little bit of pop of white, and that lightens the whole outfit. Or, I can make suggestions to them. So
Mm.
that's helpful. But really, it's also when I also tell people go through your closet and try on different things. And when you come across, like, play around and try on different things in ways that you've never worn them before. And when you come across a really great outfit, take a photo, store it in your phone, put it in an album so that when you need inspiration on a day that you have, you just don't know what to wear. It's like you're you're thinking to yourself, what do I wear? You have no inspiration. Go through your phone, that album
Mm.
of outfits that you loved. And so,
Ugh.
uh, yeah.
I love that. That's such a genius idea because I will say also, as someone who has spent too many mornings in crisis mode of clothes, it really is not a fun way to start your day. Like
Yeah.
you're running late because it took you 30 minutes to pick out your outfit instead of 5, and then the whole day kind of feels rushed, and it's just not a good way to start. And so if you have those like ideas and that inspiration of things you felt really good in
Yes.
previously that you can pull out like in those moments where maybe it's decision fatigue, it's Friday, your brain's not functioning anymore, just like make it easy on yourself.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, and having those go-to items, those go-to outfits, it's just, you feel good in it. Okay, so like you already wore it a few days ago. You're gonna wear it again because it's just it's easy and you feel good in it. It's a no-brainer out the door.
I love it. Okay, is there trying to think if there's what other questions I want to ask. I can't believe we're already almost at an hour. This has flown by. This has been such a fun conversation and just so
You ask
interesting.
you ask really great questions, I gotta
Oh,
say.
thank you. I've been thinking about this since we last connected, so I've had a lot of time to kind of let it simmer. But I guess for those people who are feeling like really disconnected from their style right now, obviously, working with a stylist is a great idea. What other things can they do to start the process? And, where can they find you if they want to be inspired by you and your work?
Um, so somebody who's really at a loss, um, I'm gonna say open up your eyes and just start noticing the people around you and just look at what it is. You're walking down the street, you're meeting people. What do you like? What do who's a potential style icon for you?
Mm,
And why is it what do you like about their style? And what is it, and you can pull this up if this is a celebrity, you think I really love such and such a style. Search for them, see what outfits they wear. And again, I'm going to say the Pinterest board and I'm going to say social media and influencers. There's so many different influencers out there with different and different stylists that you can follow with different style. There's the casual mom style. There's the glamorous style. There's really like an influencer for everybody. There are multiple influencers for different styles. And so open up your eyes and just start looking for inspiration.
mm,
That's going to be the first step. Um, and and start asking yourself, how do I want people to respond to me? What do I want people to think when they look at me? And when you come up with that's also going to start to guide you. I had a client who she really wanted to look elegant. She had a style icon, this Lebanese singer. I can't I'm blanking on her name, but she's a gorgeous Lebanese singer. And my client was dressing very, very, very casually, sometimes in little girl clothes. And when we went through this process, we did the Pinterest board. She told me it was really important for her to look elegant among some other things. And so when we finally went shopping, and I pulled something out and suggested to her maybe something was a little bit edgier. And she'd be like, "No, Jennifer, that is not elegant." And so it's like it's digging deep and knowing how you want to present. So she started off with a closet full of clothes that she'd been given or just cheap clothes that she bought because they were cheap. And this was actually coming to me after a healing process and realizing that she deserved more. So there was
mm,
an emotional impact to this, an emotional aspect to this. And so when she realized that she wanted to look elegant, she was not going to put up with anything less. And
Mm.
so we got rid of her childish clothes, we got rid of her cheap clothes, and she was going for elegance. So this is something that when you start to do this on your own, you'll tap into what it is, and you'll also be able to recognize it. And so how people can find me, I am my business is called Pretty Things Styling on Instagram. It's pretty_things_styling. And I work one-on-one. I do a little bit of virtual, and I've recently opened a style membership. So that is for people who want to do style kind of low key. They're welcome to join the membership. It's $35 a month. And there's a Facebook group. I do master classes. I teach on things like your style archetype and how to look put together. And there's a Facebook community of women who are all working to elevate their style, and they're super encouraging and they're super positive. And I love seeing people's outfits of the day that they post there. And so, yeah, so people can find me on Instagram, Facebook, reach out if any of this has been interesting. If you start to listen to yourself and you're discovering that your style is changing, reach out to me. I'd love to hear about it.
Ugh, I love that. And I love the membership. That sounds like such an empowering space where the women can be in community and also get the education and the practical tips for when you don't know where to start. And it's so funny. It reminds me, I recently told my husband, I was like, I think I've outgrown, I think I've evolved beyond a lot of my wardrobe. Like I want to start like really cultivating some things that I feel really good in. And I think sometimes there are just stages and phases of life where you start to feel that. And um, yeah, what a cool thing to be able to recognize that and have a resource to reach out to you, follow you. And yeah, thank you for all of these like just practical tips and advice. This has been so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you. This has been so much fun for me too.
Amazing. Well, I hope everybody that's listening has found some nugget of wisdom, of inspiration, of power, of creativity, some piece of something that Jennifer has said today that made you feel inspired or excited and something that you can play with in your life. If nothing else, I highly recommend the how do I want to feel today exercise. Like I said, I've tried that so many times and it really changes the way I approach getting put together and dressed in the morning and it puts some intentionality there. So it's really fun. But all right. Well, do you have any final things you want to share before we say goodbye?
I'm just going to reiterate that you can look amazing. Even if you feel like you don't right now, you can find your style and you can feel absolutely amazing in it. Just, it's going to take a little bit of work, but you can do it.
Yes. Ah, I love that. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I hope everybody decides to integrate intuitive styling into their self-love practice. Like this is such a great way to be empowered and to care for ourselves. So thank you all for listening and take care of yourselves until next time. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you want more resources on thriving in your life or want details on working with me, check out my website at internallyguidedleadership.com or follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Internally Guided Coach. Be gentle with yourselves out there, and I'll talk to you next time.